On your Module 2 test, the examiner will ask you to pull over in a safe place on the left on a number of occasions, probably about 4 or 5 times on your test. He may say, stop on the left in a safe place, or pull over on the left in a safe place. There will always be a safe place for you to stop. It's not a trick question, but they are looking for you to select a safe place. And you need to know the rules for your safe places to stop. The rules are, it should be somewhere that you'd be happy to park your bike and leave it. That's a really good overall general rule to use. So we shouldn't be stopping in a bus stop. If the road is narrow, I wouldn't be stopping opposite a bus stop or opposite parked cars, because you're then creating an obstacle should any buses come along and stop in the bus stop, or any other vehicles come past that need to get past the parked vehicles. You should be stopping next to a raised curb, not a dropped curb, so you're not blocking any entrances or driveways. Remember the highway code rules for junctions. So if you're stopping on the side of the road, the highway code recommends you should be no less than 10 metres away from the mouth of a junction on your side of the road. You also should not be parking or stopping opposite a junction on the other side of the road, because once again this creates an obstacle that the other road users will then have to try and work around, and particularly at a junction this can be dangerous. We also shouldn't be stopping on zigzag lines, whether that's on the approach to a pedestrian crossing or outside a school, or double yellow lines, or even the single yellow lines, which are usually time restricted. During the times of your test, it's likely that any single yellow lines are going to be active with their timings on the signs, because they're usually daytime hours with the parking restrictions or stopping restrictions. So essentially no paint on the left as you're stopping. The only exception to that is a solid white line. A solid white line simply marks the edge of the carriageway on the left. It doesn't mean you can't stop there, it's just marking the edge of the carriageway. So somewhere along this road, the examiner might say, find a safe place to stop on the left. Well, we don't want to stop yet because we're too close to the mouth of the junction. Also don't want to stop opposite the junction. We need to be next to a raised curb, so here would do. You check your mirrors, you pop your indicator on, you pull over so that you're next to the curb, either with your foot on the curb or just next to it. You shouldn't be miles out into position 2. You should actually be next to the curb. It is stop on the left, not stop in the middle of the lane. We get quite a lot of students who'll stop in the middle of the lane and then we have to say move in a bit. Once you stopped, cancel your indicator and wait for further instructions. I wouldn't even bother putting it into neutral, because if you're putting it into neutral, it's possible the next instruction is going to be move off when it's safe. And there's not much time between you stopping and then the examiner saying thank you very much, move off when it's safe. So sometimes it isn't worth popping it into neutral and then having to put it back into gear. I would just wait in first gear and wait for the further instructions. When you're moving off from the side of the road, make sure you use your mirrors. Make sure that it's definitely safe in your mirrors first, then indicate. Don't indicate too early. If you indicate whilst you're waiting and checking your mirrors and there's traffic passing you, you're likely to cause somebody to slow down and flash you to let you out. And if that happens, it's not necessarily going to be safe for you to move off. So don't create the situation by indicating too early. You don't want to put yourself into a situation where you've got to make a decision. Make life easy for yourself. If there's traffic coming up behind you, don't indicate until there's a safe gap. Then do your indicator, your shoulder check, and then off you go. So checking my mirrors, the mirrors are clear, so I'm going to do indicator, shoulder check, and then off we go. And if the examiner said find a safe place to stop on the left, we wouldn't be stopping here because of the zigzags outside the school. We are looking for anywhere that has a raised curb, where we're not stopping blocking a junction, We're not stopping opposite a junction, we're not blocking driveways, we're not too close to a junction on our side of the road. When it's safe, move off. Mirrors, let's have a good look. Nothing coming. Indicator, shoulder check, and off we go. So stop in a safe place on the left. Pull over in a safe place. Stop on the left. As this road isn't especially wide, I'm choosing a raised curb where I'm not directly opposite the parked vehicles. Once I've stopped, cancel my indicator and wait for further instructions. If the road was a lot wider, it wouldn't matter if you were stopping opposite parked vehicles because there'd be plenty of space for other vehicles to come through without putting yourself in unnecessary danger. Move off when it's safe. Mirrors, indicator, shoulder check, and off we go. Stop on the left in a safe place. This road is wide enough for me to stop directly opposite the red car. I'm still next to a raised curb. I'm in a safe place. I'm cancelling my indicator and I'm waiting for further instructions. Move off when it's safe. Check your mirrors. Indicator, shoulder check, and off we go. Good clearance past the parked cars as we're coming out. When you are given the instruction to stop on the left in a safe place, don't just instantly put your indicator on and keep riding for a long distance. We've had it before where people are given the instruction to find a safe place to stop on the left, and the first thing they do is pop their indicator on rather than select where they want to stop first. They leave their indicator on whilst they're trying to find a safe place to stop, which is confusing for any following traffic whilst they're dithering, deciding where they actually do want to stop. We've had somebody fail a test for doing that once. Try not to indicate until you're ready to stop. So whilst you're looking for the place to stop, just look for it, then select your area, indicator, and then bring yourself into a safe stop at the side of the road. Pull over in a safe place on the left. Mirrors and signal. Didn't need a lifesaver because I'm passing the parked cars quite closely. And I'm stopping next to a raised curb. I'm not too close to the junction on the other side of the road, and I'm nowhere near any junctions on this side of the road. I'm not blocking driveways. There's no paint on the road. Move off when it's safe. Mirrors, signal, lifesaver, and off we go. Stop on the left in a safe place. Once again, we're next to a raised curb. We're not too close to the junction on our side of the road. We're not opposite the junction on the other side of the road. There's no road markings here like double yellow lines, single yellow lines, zigzags. So no paint on the road. So moving off from the side of the road. Use your mirrors. Make sure you're totally happy there's nothing coming up behind you. Indicator, shoulder check, and off we go. I do also check the road ahead before I'm moving off. Find a safe place to stop on the left. So I'm going to stop just after the driveway entrance, not too close to the junction on my side of the road. Even though the road ahead is clear and there's no parked car to come around, I am still checking the road ahead is safe before I move off. I'm not just looking behind me. So you'll notice that I'm checking my mirrors. I'm then popping my indicator, shoulder check, and getting ready to go. And obviously the last thing you're doing is your shoulder check before you move off. So sometimes you'll notice I do 2 shoulder checks because I'm doing a last minute check straight ahead because I've been staring in my mirrors a while. That's not to say that you need to do 2 shoulder checks to move off.